Hello, welcome to the course on emerging domain electronics engineering. This is lecture 21 and in this lecture we will see the Boolean algebra. So first, what is Boolean algebra? So Boolean algebra is a mathematics used to analyze the digital circuits or the digital logic gates. There are some laws which basically elaborates the Boolean algebra, and these laws are basically helpful in reducing the number of logic gate requirement, because during the designing procedure of the digital circuit our motive is just to reduce the size of the circuit, just to reduce the number of logic gate requirement. So we are using these laws to simplify. So the most important two things is we want to reduce the circuit, we want to reduce the number of logic gates, and we want to simplify our Boolean expression. So these are the two motives of the Boolean algebra. So now the simplification, the minimization of combinational expressions, the expressions corresponding to the digital circuits is basically a very important thing, and the major step while designing the digital circuit is a simplified expression. So if we are using the large number of gates for implementing a digital circuit, so the circuit will be providing a large delay, and if the number of the gates are high, then correspondingly the power requirement will be very high, and there are other several parameters which also basically deteriorates. So our motive here is to simplify the circuit, to simplify the Boolean algebra. But with the advent of the integrated circuits, means the ICs, we will see that we have small scale integration, medium scale integration, and the large scale integration, and further VLSI and ULSI. So with the help of these this technologies, we are able to basically minimize the size of the IC, and correspondingly we are able to increase the number of transistors on a single chip. So that is lying under the category of integrated circuits. So we will see that there is a truth table representation for a Boolean function, and this truth table representation is unique. Means if we are implementing some expression, the truth table will be unique, the output will be unique for that, but corresponding to that particular let us say expression, we have so many different forms. We will see in our next slide what are we talking about, what are the forms, various forms available with the Boolean algebra. So now we have some theorems related to Boolean algebra. So these theorems are basically very helpful in minimizing the expression. So the first and foremost important theorem is the De Morgan's theorem. So this De Morgan's theorem represents in the two basic forms, one we will see in the product form and one is in a summation form or in a sum form. So if we have, let us say, A dot B with bar, with complement, then it can be written as A bar plus B bar. We will see what is dual and what is the complement, and if we have, let us say, A plus B whole bar, it can be represented as A bar dot B bar. So these are the two forms of De Morgan's theorem which are helpful in the minimization of Boolean expressions. So we will be using these two theorems. Now we have the transposition theorem. So what this transposition theorem says, that if we have AB plus A bar C, it can be written as A plus C and A bar plus B. We have a small proof also. So if we are starting with the right hand side with this, so we can write this as, if we will just multiply inside, we will have A dot A bar, after that A bar C, after that we have AB, and after that we have CB. So we will be having 4 terms. Now A dot A bar, this is equal to 0, because we have one variable with a multiply with the complemented one, that will be equal to 0. We have now 3 terms, which is a bar c plus ab plus bc. So now if we take common, or we can write this as, instead of bc, if we are having this term a plus a bar, that is also equal to 1, we will see. So here we can write this as 1, and instead of 1 we can write a plus a bar, and further we will expand this. And finally, if we will take here ab common, and if we will take here a bar c common, so we will have ab plus a bar c. So this is called as the transposition theorem. So this theorems we can interchangeably use either this way or this way. After this, we have the third theorem, which is called as a redundancy theorem. So this theorem is used to eliminate the redundant term. What is this term? If this term is extra term in the expression, so our aim is to remove this term, because this term doesn't affect our output. So our motive is to eliminate this particular term. So for this we are using the theorem which is known as the redundancy theorem. So which is AB plus BC bar plus AC, it can be written as AC plus BC bar. Again we can start with the proof. We'll start with LHS, left hand side, and instead of this particular term AB, we can multiply this by C plus C bar, because we are aware that this is equal to 1. Similarly, we will multiply this by A plus A bar, because this term is also equal to 1, and similarly for the last term also. After that we will expand this. Now ABC here, ABC this side. Similarly, we have this ABC bar, we have this ABC bar. So we can write down these terms, both the terms and the remaining 2 terms, which is A bar B C bar and A B bar C, like this. So these are the remaining 2 terms. And further, if we take B common, if we take AC common from this term and the last one. Similarly, if we will take B C bar common from these 2 terms, means term number 2nd and 3rd, then we will have this AC plus BC bar, which is nothing but the right hand side. So this is the small proof of this theorem. This means with the help of this particular theorem we have eliminated this term AB, which was not required. So this is called as a redundancy theorem. After that we have the duality. So in this duality theorem, what we did is, first we can say that dual expressions is equivalent to writing a negative logic. Means we have discussed 2 type of logic, one is a positive logic, one is a negative logic. So corresponding to a Boolean relationship. Now how can we find out the dual corresponding to some Boolean expression? So the steps are, change each OR gate, or we can say the OR sign with AND sign, and vice versa. Means OR is converted to AND 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 is converted to OR gate. After that, complement any 0 and 1. If in the expression we have 0, then it will be converted to 1 and vice versa. Similarly, after this is the most important thing, which is different from the complement, that keep literals as it is. Literals in an expression is the variables, means A, B, C, these are the literals, means the variables which we are using to express our Boolean expression. So in this we can say that if we have A dot B plus C, then it can be written as, the literals will be as it is, means A can be written as A. After that AND is converted to OR, means we will have plus. After that B as it is, and OR is converted to AND, like this. So the dual expression corresponding to A dot B plus C is equal to A plus BC. Now how this is different, duality is different from our next theorem, which is the complementary theorem. So this complementary theorem means, first again the OR gate is converted to AND, and similarly we can convert AND to OR also. After that, for 0 and 1 we need to perform the complement, means if in our expression 0 is available, then we can write 1. After that, complement the individual literal also, means the expression, the variables what we are using in the expression, that are also, means they will also be complemented, something like this. A dot b plus c can be written as a bar dot b bar plus a bar dot c bar. So this is a complementary theorem. After this complementary theorem, we have some identities, we can say, starting with the first identity or first theorem, which is called as identity theorem, means x plus 0 that is equal to x. We can see this. If we have x and if we use 0 plus 0, then the result is 0, and similarly 1 plus 0, this is 1. We have seen the binary addition, so means the output is depending upon what, we can say x. So x plus 0 is what, x. Similarly x dot 1, this is equal to x, means again if x can take value 0 and 1 and we are performing AND operation with 1, the result is 0. Similarly if we are performing AND operation with 1, then the result is 1. Clearly the output is depending upon the literal, on the variable x. Similarly null identity or null theorem is x plus 1 is 1, means irrespective of the input x or irrespective of the variable x, our output will always be 1. Similarly x dot 0, the output will always be 0 irrespective of the variation in our input signal. Similarly we have the complementary x plus x bar, the result is always 1. We can say, let us say if x is 0, so 0 plus 1, which is 1, again if we can say 1 plus 0, that is equals to 1. So this is a complementary theorem. So x dot x bar, that is equal to 0, because 0 dot 1 or 1 dot 0 always be 0. After that, idempotency, which is x plus x equal to x, means this theorem is very helpful, because in the simplification of Boolean expressions, we can write down x n number of times. We can write x as x plus x, so on, means whatever is the numbers, means in how many number of times we want to basically replicate that, we can write this. This is called the idempotency. And similarly for this end also, we have x dot x equal to x. So again x dot x dot x, so on, we can represent this. After that, involution means x bar with whole bar. So what happen is, this bar will cancel the inner bar and we will have the x. After that, the commutative law, x plus y is nothing but y plus x. We have seen that our basic gates, our AND gate, OR gates, they just follow this commutative law and associative law also. Similarly, if we have x dot y, it can be written as y dot x. After that, we have the associative law, which is x plus y plus z, it can be written as x plus y plus z. Means first we will perform the OR operation of two variables y and z. After that, the result will be in OR with the x. Similarly for this also, if we have x dot y dot z, then we have x dot in bracket y dot z, means first we will perform this operation and after that we will perform AND with x. Distributive theorem, this is again very helpful. If we have x dot y plus z, then the distributive theorem says we have xy, and we have xz. Similarly here, x plus yz can be written as x plus y and x plus z. So this theorem is also very helpful in minimization. Now some more theorems. Absorption means if we have x plus x dot y, it can be written as, if we'll take x common, so we'll have 1 plus y, and we have seen already in our last slide that 1 plus y is equal to 1. So this is nothing but equals to x, like this. Similarly, x dot x plus y, which can be again, if we'll write down this as x dot x plus xy, and x dot x equals to, this is x plus xy, and further x plus xy is nothing but x. So next is the adsorption theorem, x plus x bar y, which can be written as, we can represent this as x plus x bar and with x plus y. X plus x bar, we are aware that this is equal to 1. So we have x plus y. Similarly, we have x dot x bar plus y is equal to xy. After that, we have the uniting theorem, which we have x dot y plus x dot y bar. So we can take x common from this, and y plus y bar naturally equals to 1. Similarly, here also we have x plus y dot x plus y bar, which is again equal to x, because it can be written as x plus y y bar, and y bar is equal to 0. That's why we'll left with only x. Next is the consensus theorem. So what this consensus theorem says, that the number of variables must be 3 and each variable is occurring twice. Each variable is occurring twice. We can see that x is occurring 2 times, y is occurring 2 times, and z is also occurring 2 times. Now the third point is very important. We need to see that on which variable or on which literal we have the complemented form, means we have x bar z. So the result will be nothing but these two terms, xy plus x bar z. This is the result. This is called as the consensus theorem. Similarly, for AND operation also we can perform. De Morgan's theorem we have already seen in both the ways. In the sum form also we have seen, means x1 plus x2 plus x3 whole bar can be written as x1 bar dot x2 bar dot x3 bar. Similarly, x1 dot x2 plus x3 with whole bar, it can be written as x1 bar plus x2 bar plus x3 bar and so on. So these are some theorems which are helpful in the minimization. Now we have, let's say, a small question that minimize the following Boolean expression using the Boolean identities, means with the help of Boolean theorems. So we have this function f, a, b, c are the literals or the variables, and the expression is a bar b plus b c bar plus b c plus a b bar c bar. So how we can minimize this? We will see in our next lectures that we have one more method which is called as K-map. But before this K-map, we want to simplify this expression with the help of Boolean algebra. So how can we write this as? We'll use the theorem which is called as the idempotent law, which is BC bar can be written as BC bar plus BC bar, means in the simplification we can use n number of times. So we will have BC bar plus BC bar over here plus BC plus A B bar C bar. We can just copy this. So we are using idempotent law in this second term. After that, we are just combining these two, and we are just combining these two like this. So we'll have A bar B plus BC bar plus BC, and we'll have BC bar plus A B bar C bar. Now what we can do is we can take common, b common, or with the help of distributive law. So c plus c bar, we have seen c plus c bar is equal to 1. Similarly, from this last two terms, if we will take c bar common, then we will left with b plus ab bar. Now this step is important. So we will have a bar b as it is, and this will be equal to 1, so it is b. After that, b plus ab bar. So b plus ab bar can be written as b plus a and b plus b bar. So b plus b bar is 1 and we are left with b plus a. So instead of this, we can write b plus a like this. So again, from these two terms we can take b common and we'll left with 1 plus a bar, and 1 plus a bar, as we have seen, that is equal to 1 plus a bar equal to what? 1. Similarly, c bar b plus a. So we'll left with b plus c bar and b plus a. So finally, now what we will do in this one is, again we will take b common. So we'll have b 1 plus c bar and plus ac bar. So after simplification, we have this we have the final output, which is in a minimized form, which is b plus ac bar. Means b plus ac bar, we can say b plus ac bar. Means if we want to implement this with the help of the logic gates, so how many number of OR gates are required? Only one OR gate. One OR gate. After that, one AND gate, and we have one NOT gate. So to represent this complex expression, basically we need only 3 gates. We need only 3 gates. One is OR gate, one is AND gate, and one is NOT gate. Previously what happened there, it seems that we need so many number of AND and OR gates to input OR gates. So this is the power of Boolean algebra. Next, again we have some different questions, which is a plus b and a plus c. So how can we simplify this? Again, this is quite easy. With the help of distributive rule, we can write this as a plus b, a plus c can be written as a dot a plus a dot c, b dot a and b dot c. But a dot a is equal to a and the remaining terms as it is. After that, what we can do here is we can take a common and 1 plus c, 1 plus c, and here again the remaining terms as it is. 1 plus c is equal to 1, we have seen in the theorem. So this is a plus ab plus bc. Again from these two, first and second term, we can take b common. This is b, or we can say we can take a common and here it is b. 1 plus b is nothing but 1 plus b is 1. So we'll have a plus bc. So finally we will need a plus bc is the output corresponding to this Boolean expression. So again, how many number of AND, OR and NOT gates are used? Only we need 2 gates. 2 gates, okay, one is OR and one is AND. One OR gate and one AND gate is required. Previously it seems that we need two OR gates along with one AND gate. So this is a minimized one. In this way, means with the help of these theorems we can minimize. So now Boolean, how we can represent this Boolean function? So the Boolean functions basically, or the logical functions, are generally expressed in terms of variables, logical variables, or called as literals also. So the values taken by these logical functions and the logical variables are in a binary form, either 0 or 1. So any logical variable can take only one of the two values, means either it can take 0 or 1. If we'll talk about if both are there, means we'll see what is don't care, but right now don't care is not in Boolean. In don't care is basically in K-map while we are simplifying. So either we can represent in a normal form, which is A, or in a complemented form, which is A bar. So we have only two forms, either A or A bar. So based on this, the arbitrary logic functions can be expressed in two forms. One is SOP, sum of product terms, and the another one is the POS, product of sum of product and the product of sum. So first is the SOP, sum of product. As the name says, that it is basically the function when we have the sum of product terms, means first we have the product terms and they are just combined in a sum form. Sum of two or more product term is called the SOP, and these are called as the min terms also. We will see min terms. And the next type of representation is the POS representation, means the product of sum. First we will have the terms available in a sum form, after that we can perform the product of those sum terms like this. So sum of this is called as a product of sum terms. These are called as a max term. We will see max terms. These are called as the min terms, these are the max terms. So these are the two representation of a Boolean function. Now we have, let's say, a Boolean function which is f equal to x plus y bar z. So we need to represent this in a SOP form or in terms of min terms. So what happen is that each variable, first of all, is how many variables are there? There are three variables. So three variables. So our motive is that each min term will contain all the terms. So in x, or in this first term, both y and z are missing. Both y and z are missing. So we can have y plus y bar, and this is a simplified term, and similarly z plus z bar, like this. Again we can expand. So using this we will have now four terms corresponding to x. Similarly y bar plus z, this term is lacking in x, means x is not available. So we can have x plus x bar, something like this. Again we can simplify, means we can expand this. And if we are combining both the outputs, this one and this one, then it will result in these five terms. This is called as a min term, or this is called as the canonical representation, canonical SOP representation. Similarly we can have the canonical POS representation also. Again, what happened in this POS representation, that both the terms are lacking in one variable. In first term we are lacking with z, and in second term we are lacking with y. So instead of this, first we can represent this sum terms into the product form like this, and with the help of means these are the terms, and we can say that this term is lacking in z, this term is lacking in y, and this term is lacking in x. So we can utilize our theorem, Boolean theorems, so that we can represent each max term with the help of three variables. And after that, if the common terms are available like this and this, which can be written only once. So this is the result corresponding to the canonical representation in POS form. We have the final result in a tabular form, which is showing that corresponding to 0 0 0, min term is x bar dot y bar dot z bar, and the max term will be x plus y plus z. Similarly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. means we have represented the min terms as well as the max term corresponding to these binary representation starting from 0 to 7. So, these terms are definitely helpful in the K map also. So, this is all about this Boolean algebra. These are the references. Thank you.